Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Open Task Podcast. I am Calvin Smith with my main man, Joe Carlos. Joe, what's up, brother?
Nothing much, man. It's so good to be here with you. It is, as always, hello.
Hey, man, I'm in a good mood, man. The Braves just took 3 out of 4 from the hated New York Mets.
Okay. That's how you go up full games doing that.
Hey, man. Jacob deGrom hold his L.
You gain games.
You gain some games. This looks right.
Yeah.
Got my Allison Becker Liverpool keeper jersey, even though we haven't won a match this season yet. It's okay.
Okay.
Your utter disregard for English Premier League soccer is Joe. It's so great. It's so great, man.
What I do? What I do?
Absolutely nothing. So I'm getting in game shape for homecoming. Homecoming is upcoming. You like what I did? Homecoming is upcoming.
Okay.
What
does game shape mean for you?
So I'm doing 2-a-days in the park. I'm walking in the park. You know what I'm saying? Catching some Pokemon, but mostly walking. You know, get my steps in. Occasionally, I might run a little bit. You know what I mean? Because I got some koofies to slap off at homecoming. I'm slapping some koofies. I can't say who, because then it'll be premeditated. But I've been advised by my lawyer that even if it's premeditated, that it's misdemeanor. So, you know, and then I also put them in a bad position because they if they don't fight back, then, you know, so koofies, don't wear your koofies at homecoming. I'm slapping koofies off like Jim Jones.
It's so good to know. That's very good to know. Thank you. Very good to know.
Joe.
Yes, sir.
We left people in suspense this week on the Instagram. If you're not following us on Instagram, the Open Task Podcast on Instagram, you really should. We were telling people we were doing a movie. By now, if you have tuned into the YouTube feed, you know what movie we're doing because this is right over my shoulder. But I told him we were doing a Tarantino movie, and my man Brett guessed Reservoir Dogs. Reservoir Dogs is a great movie. You know, I have nothing against Reservoir Dogs. Probably, if the Open Task Podcast makes it to like an 8th or 9th season, we may be that's shady. I'm sorry. I got called shady this week. Joe, somebody at work called me shady. They saw me out and they were like, yeah, you hardly spoke at all. I'm just shy, guys. I'm shy. That's what it is. Like, don't let the smooth taste from the Open Task Podcast fool you. I'm with one of my best friends talking about, like I'm a shy guy. So if I don't like just come and hug you or something like that out in public, it's not blame the alcohol. Don't blame me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, anyway, but yeah, man, I'm a little shady sometimes. I like Reservoir Dogs. It's not a bad movie at all. Quentin Tarantino doesn't have a bad movie in my
I've only seen it once. I saw it once. I was 18. And I saw it one time, and I think I was getting ready to go off to school or go off to college, and it was the thing to do to watch this movie.
Yeah,
because we were all buddies. We were cinephiles, or so we thought. And so I only watched that thing one time, and I've never gone back. I mean, I've seen scenes, so I really don't know what it's about. I mean, I know what it's about, you know what I'm saying, but I don't. Yeah. I've had countless opportunities to watch it again, and I never had any concern or interest to do so.
I'm looking at my movie collection as we speak. I got it. I got the 15th anniversary edition actually, but
well, there you go.
Yeah, but I mean, I'd be hard pressed to say the last time I saw it as well. I've seen it multiple times. That full stop, but not into my, it's not one that I know well enough to cover on this podcast for sure. So the other pretty good guess was Hateful Eight by Maurice, and it was enough to get something I wouldn't say never when it comes to you, Joe, but something that I doubt it would ever happen. Joe says he's gonna watch it. So
I am.
And I think if you watch it, there's a very good chance that we will end up covering it because it's that.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that so that we can.
Yeah. And we very likely will have Chicago's own. I see you, Maurice.
Yeah, we see you, brother. Shout out to Reese.
Shout out to Reese. I'm with my homecoming training, I'm not exactly teetotally, but
Good for you. Look at you. Okay.
Hey man, I got trying to, you know,
I understand.
it's,
I understand.
you know, people in my class that, you know, anyway. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
There he is. There he is.
There he is. National Smile Day. Today's National Smile Day.
Yeah, it is.
Shout out to National Smile Day.
Shout out to National Smile Day. Absolutely.
And so tonight we are covering a film by the great Quentin Tarantino, one of our greatest filmmakers, one of the greatest American filmmakers.
Absolutely.
He this film. We'll get into it. I have a lot to say about my feelings regarding this film that was created in or it was released in 2012. It was, let me count real quick. I think it was he usually puts it on the poster, like the 8th film of Quentin Tarantino's career.
Quentin Jerome. Yep.
Quentin Jerome, something like that. And one of the clues of our Instagram feed was that this starred multiple Oscar winners, several Oscar winners, but initially it didn't start out that way. The people that were cast had not won Oscars, but as it were, it ended up with Jamie Foxx, Oscar winner, Christoph Waltz, Oscar winner, Leonardo DiCaprio, Oscar winner. You know, Don Johnson, not Oscar winner, but he's in it. We're talking about Django Unchained, 2012. Joe, leading into this film, what were your thoughts on it? Did you see it in the movie theater? What was your journey into Django Unchained?
Wow, the hype was huge, man. And I was, back then we were still downloading full soundtracks, downloading full albums. I had there was a song, Rick Ross and Jay, 100 body bags or 100 guns or something like that. And loved that and was playing it all the time. The hype for this film was exceptionally high. I remember seeing there was talk about it in GQ back when I still read that magazine religiously, talking about the style in GQ and Jamie Foxx's style specifically. It was there. You know, and of course Kerry Washington was at the height of Scandal at that moment. And I think that's like season 1 of Scandal too, but it was so interesting that she had this vehicle in this moment. I mean, we'd known Kerry for some time, but she had this vehicle in this moment and as well. And so there were a lot of forces at play. It's a Tarantino movie. It's a Tarantino movie starring a black man. And that, you know, an Oscar-winning black man, that in of itself was huge. It's a Western, you know, all these things that we're going to make hopefully for an entertaining film. And I saw it in Miami on Christmas Day, 2012. Of course. With my then girlfriend, now wife, and we went to see it. And to be honest, shout out to Kiva. And to be honest, when we left, I was feeling a bit. I don't know how I felt when I left. I do know that I was entertained. I didn't know what it was a commentary on or anything like that. But I was entertained, and I did enjoy myself. I thought it missed the mark somewhat when I saw it in the theater. Like I said, on Christmas Day 2012.
Yeah. So
how about you?
I saw it in the theater. I don't know if I saw it. I can't remember if I saw it opening night or not, because the theater was packed. But with it being Christmas Day, I doubt that I saw it on Christmas Day. So I probably saw it like at the first of the year. I saw it with my then girlfriend, future wife, future ex-wife, Young Joy. Shout out to Young Joy.
Shout out.
And much the same. I mean, okay, so this came out in a like kind of, you know how movies do. You know how like productions of movies go. This 12 Years a Slave You know what I mean? It was in the slave boom, as it were. And,
yeah, but this preceded 12 Years a Slave.
This did precede 12 Years a Slave, and I'm glad that it did, because after 12 Years a Slave, I was all slaved out.
Yeah.
But I came out feeling, you know, the violence was overwhelming for me. There was a lot of violence. And Tarantino is known for violence. I mean, over the top, a lot of violence, but you know, particularly the slave fights, you know, Eskimo Joe and
the Mandingo
fights. It's a lot. It was a lot. But I enjoyed it. As you know, for what it was, I enjoyed the I mean, you know, I come to a Tarantino film for dialogue at this point. Like I'm all about the dialogue. I'm all about the conversations. I'm all about the back and forth between the characters, and then I'm all about like the actors, the character actors that he casts, the stunt casting that he might do, any of that stuff. So I was looking for all of that, and came away very, very, very satisfied from that standpoint, and overall enjoyed it. And you know, have since had kind of a love-hate relationship with the film, but thankfully, Joe, to your recommendation, I'm back in love with the film. I've watched it now. I watched it immediately. We made the decision to do this film. I've probably watched it 5 times since. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. In full. It's a very well made film. But you know, we'll talk more about some of the things about this film. But yeah, so I saw it under those circumstances. I immediately bought it on Blu-ray when the Blu-ray came out, as was the custom for me when any Tarantino film was released on Blu-ray. Because you know, I mean, I make no bones about him being probably, if not my favorite director, then you know, tied with Wes Anderson and David Fincher. It's a 3-way tie. But great director, great film. So in that vein, Joe, what little things about this film stand out to you?
Well, I don't want to say this. So I felt some kind of way when I first saw it. I felt it missed the mark. In this most recent viewing, it was I didn't find it streaming anywhere but Amazon, and it was $3.99 to rent and $4.99 to buy it. So I bought it. Right. So because it was like, well, it's $1 difference, and it's entertaining enough. I'll come back and watch it again.
Sure.
So long story short, I really did enjoy it. I started it last night and I finished it today. I really did enjoy it. So having said that, the little things to me, I mean, well, there was a lot of blood.
Yeah.
And I mean, there was just blood everywhere. I don't know.
There will be blood.
There will be. Yeah. Will be blood.
That can describe any Tarantino film.
That's true. There was definitely blood in this. That's a little thing. I mean, the splashes of blood.
Yeah.
It's a little thing to me that just shows the brutality and the horror of the time. Another little thing to me was, if you look at the scenes on the plantation, it was just really interesting to me how well the CGI was. Like, there was nothing going on. So when they went to Big Daddy, and he's there at Big Daddy's on the porch, and he looks back out to Django and Dr. Schultz. There's nothing behind them. Like, there's a road, and there's just nothingness. Yeah. You know, like, just forever, just the horizon. Yeah. And to think that every single day you wake up, you're an indentured servant. Yeah. To these people in 1858, by the way. Yeah. An indentured servant 5 years before the start. I mean, years before the start of the Civil War, right? So it just seems so helpless. You know, I think the stillness of all that, and the quietness of all that, of that life that had been cultivated over and over and over again for years, to me, just, it was a little thing, but it was a big thing, I guess, in a sense. And also just the way that things looked on the plantations on Candyland when they came in, and just to see the difference in class or in rank of how people lived, even in Candyland. So even the white people that were working for Mr. Candy, they were slack jawed and barely could speak English well and all that kind of stuff, or speaking some backwoods, I don't know what, Mississippi patois they were speaking. I don't know what that was, but it was really interesting how there was just little differences in the way that they lived. I think another thing for me, though, obviously, is the way that slavery was depicted, and the brutality of slavery, as well as, for some odd reason, the fascination with Black male genitalia. And the Black male body. Yeah. The fascination with that. Yeah. And the hatred of it, and still the reverence to it and the respect for it, but the total disrespect for it as well. Right. I thought that was definitely a part of this film that it really stood out for me, subtly and then right on the nose. And if there's one more little thing, it's just the customs. Yeah. And I thought Don Johnson as Big Daddy, the customs, that little piece of, he adds that little humor. It seemed like Don Johnson was born to play this plantation owner. Yes. I mean, he really was. Yes. And just the way he said, "No, I didn't say that." And he said, "No." She said, "Treat him like white folks, Big Daddy." No.
I didn't say that.
I didn't say that. So,
and then he had to think of a proper analogy.
Yeah, proper analogy. So it seemed like it was some slow-witted, some mentally challenged person. It seemed like he was the way he related it with some mentally challenged person. Like, how would you would treat him? How would you treat him? Yeah, that's how I want you to treat him.
That's how.
Yeah, that's how I want you to treat him. She's like, "Oh, okay, Big Dad."
And she got it.
Yeah, she did. She did get it. Yeah. So those are some of the little things for me. Well, how about you?
Yeah. For me, I mean, I kind of alluded to it, man. The stunt casting that Tarantino does generally, like, so Don Johnson, of course, James Remar in a dual role. He's James both Remar. Mr. Pooch as well as A-Spec. You know what I mean? He's got two roles. Our main man, James Remar, from, again, this is the second time in 2 weeks we mentioned the Cotton Club podcast. Check out that Cotton.
James Remar's got like 9 lives though.
Yeah, man, he does.
My main man, James Remar.
Your main man that you had a personal conversation with.
Yeah, he said, "I'm Jim." I was like, "Where do we begin? Where do we begin?" Right. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
My man Tom Wopat from the Dukes of Hazzard. You know,
Luke Duke. He's Luke Duke.
Bruce Dern. Before he's in Hateful Eight, he's because he has a great turn in Hateful Eight, Joe. You're gonna love it. But
Bruce Dern had me at Tom Buchanan in the Coppola's Great Gatsby, just as a horrible person.
Yeah, he's good at that.
Yeah.
His daughter's a wonderful person, so he must not be
he's an actor.
He's an actor. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The great MC Gainey, my man MC Gainey from Sideways, another one that we've done. MC Gainey as one of the Brittle brothers. I think it was Big John Brittle. We have Jonah Hill starring briefly. You know what I mean? Like just on and on and on. The great Zoe Bell, the stunt actress that was in Death Proof, and Quentin finds a way to get her into all of his films. Michael Bowen, another Quentin Tarantino. James and Michael Parks, Tom Savini, all these people that are always in Quentin's movies. He finds a way to get them in. And I'm looking for him when I see his movies. So there's that part. I like, to speak to the slavery aspect of it again, like just the little subtle things that the Black folks in this movie do around white people, looking down, looking away. You know what I mean? The slack jaw look of all the locals whenever Jamie Foxx would pop up. Anywhere when he was not supposed to pop up, you know what I mean? I think, it was very appropriate for that time. I think that people very much would have reacted in the same way. Yeah. So there was that part of it. And then, just the other subtleties about like how you know, how things varied from different areas, how people were treated in different areas, how Mississippi was probably the cruelest area of the South. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
How, you know, Texas is probably a little bit different from Mississippi. It was probably a little different from South Carolina, but you know, all keeping the same. And then, you know, just a massive amount of cursing and the use of the N-word. So the N-word is used 110 times, Joe. Your local newspaper, the Dallas Morning News, actually collected. Yeah, they counted all of Tarantino's movies. They counted like certain curse words. And for this movie, again, the N-word was used 110 times. As much as they put focus on the genitalia, he didn't use many crudities for terms for genitalia in this film, unlike in other.
No, movies. Actually, he just said we're going to snip or what. And actually, in the end, when he was about to say it, Django's about to say it. He doesn't even say the word. He just goes and shoots. He didn't even say it. You know.
Yeah. I from what I read, that was purposeful. So. But yeah, man. Those are the things for me. The little things for me about this.
Actually, film. You know, the other character actor, and you might have said his name, but the guy, he was the early slaver. It was him and James Remar, one of the.
The Speck brothers. Who was the other Speck brother?
The other, well, he was the friend in Beverly Hills Cop. He started the whole thing off. He's the friend who got killed in Beverly Hills.
James Russo, Dickie Speck. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he was also in he was in Traffic. Not Traffic. What's the other one? Not Traffic. What's the other Life in LA film? Every 5 years I gotta come up with a Life in LA film. What's the one that won Best Picture? It won Best Picture. I can't remember what it was, but everybody was in it. It was like 30 people in the movie. 30 people in that movie. But Terrence Howard's in it, and he's married to Tandy Newton.
That horrible movie that crashed.
Crash.
Crash. They gave to instead of Brokeback because Brokeback was too.
The Academy wasn't quite ready, but so they gave the Crash. So, but nonetheless, he was in that as well. He was the officer that Ryan Phillippe told, like, this is my friend. I will diffuse this. But yeah, all those things that you mentioned, I thought are spot on as well.
Indeed, man. So, who was the unsung hero of the film for you?
I mean, unsung?
Yeah, unsung, man.
I don't know. I don't know that there's an unsung hero.
Okay, fair enough.
Well, you know what? The unsung hero of the film is?
What's that?
Is proper gunplay.
Okay, talk about it.
Because he hadn't fired a gun before. And then while being a bounty hunter became exceptionally skilled in that regard. Okay. And was truly free. To do whatever he wanted to do. And you knew it too in the scene where they come in from they've been killing guys and catching guys left and right. And there's that snowy scene where they come in, they go, hey, had a birthday yesterday, got some cake, pretty good. Come on in, have some. And they both walk through the front door and they both, and they're there. So that there was like a freedom there that they, come on in. Granted, not every human being in the world was a horrible person then. Sure. But
a lot of them were, though.
A lot of them were, yes. But not every single human being was a horrible person. But it was interesting to see how free he was. But he was an amazingly fast shooter, and it obviously came in handy later on. It was a big part of the film. Once he started shooting, it was a really, really big part of the film, and it was something he could come to rely on to get him out of anything. Yeah, that and his wit. But the gunplay became, to me, his most important skill set.
Oh, absolutely. and Reese will be very happy about you talking about this. You know,
I'm sure.
This is one of his things, but it
you
calls to mind.
You can't watch this. You can't watch this and not mention the gunplay. I mean, this gunplay is constant. In the first 5 minutes, they're shooting from the first 5 minutes of the film. So
the accuracy of like the bullet counts and everything like that. I mean, to the point of I'm stepping on one of my favorite lines in the movie, but when Steven's like, I count 6 shots.
6 shots, nigga.
He's like, I count 2 guns.
Nigga.
It's great. It's fantastic. And like, I mean, he runs out of bullets, picks up other bullets. By the way, Joe, I don't know. I'm digressing just a little bit. There's this meme out. I posted on my Facebook feed. This woman posts. I don't know what the fascination is of posting your guns on the internet is, but people like to do it. So this woman has a picture of her gun in the mirror. It's talking about run up, and the gun looks like one of the guns used in this film. Like it's rusty, it's old. And so, but yeah, man, the gunplay in this film is on point. And to your point, he's very, very adept and very skilled, and it saves his life. I mean, even the blowback from the guns is pretty realistic. I mean, I don't know how realistic it was when he killed Laura Lee, and she flew into the next room. But the other,
but I appreciate it.
I very much appreciated that.
It was like that, and like Carrie, like Carrie sent her mom flying with all the knives.
Of course.
Yeah, it seemed it was like an homage to the absurdity. It was so absurd. The movements were so absurd.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is just a regular gun, right? You don't have this isn't 5 bullets coming at him at once. But it was brilliant. It was absolutely brilliant to me.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm with you. So for me, my unsung hero, well, I got 2. So Miss Kerry Washington as Broomhilda, Hildy von Schaft. What a complicated character she was in the first place. A Black female slave raised by German slaveholders who learned to speak German, speaks German fluently, meets the love of her life, becomes a troublemaker with him, as it were. Is defiant, is strong-willed, is tortured, is gone through, so much, much is made in today's society, even of the things that Black women go through. But my gosh, in that day and age, like, I mean, I thought she was subtle when she needed to be subtle. I thought the performance that she put in this film, I earned quite a bit of respect for her and her craft. Not to say that, again, I didn't have a lot of respect for her, because I enjoyed her in a variety of movies. So She Hate Me. What was that other, the one with Chris Rock? I Think I Love My Wife.
I think I Love My Wife, yeah.
Yeah. I don't love her quite as much as my homeboy Wendell loves her. And Wendell was the very first on the Kerry Washington train, as far as I'm aware. So shout out to my main man Wendell, but Wendell S. Patton. I don't know if I'm as big on her train as he was, but I certainly enjoyed her quite a bit in this film. The damsel in distress, as it were, but she was hardly a damsel. She was, she did her thing, and her glee at the end, her sheer and utter glee, so enjoyable to see. I really enjoyed that quite a bit. She nailed this role. And then my man Walton Goggins as Billy Crash, very briefly. He's not in it very, very long, but I think it's a good setup for the next Tarantino film, in which he has a much larger role.
I like Goggins, man. I like him. He's just great in everything he's in. I mean, I guess I didn't even recognize him at the time. Later, but in Vice Principals, the Righteous Gemstones, like whatever he's in, he just brings something to it. I don't even know the words. He just brings something to it, man. And he's a great actor.
He's a Southern gentleman, man. I mean, and it's crazy because, like, Alabama native, raised in Georgia, Lithia Springs High School. You know what I mean? Like, he's a Georgia boy through and through. And he plays these roles, man. He's so good, man. Billy Crash, you know, really not in it for long again. So I don't know how you know how much I can classify him as an unsung hero per se, but you know, definitely when he's in it, he steals the scenes. You know, and like I said, you know, I kind of see this as campaign to Hateful Eight in a bit, in a large number of ways. So he you know, again, he builds on it later on in that role, but I really enjoyed him, and just in general, I mean, you know, this is one film actually. You know, I'm a big fan of the villains. That's on record. I hate the villains in this film. I hate Calvin Candy. I hate Steven. Like, there's no redeeming qualities, nothing enjoyable about either one of them except for the meme over my shoulder.
I mean, okay, I can dig it. I thought DiCaprio. How can I put this? I love Leo.
Yeah.
Right. We're the same age.
Yeah.
So I have nothing but love for Leonardo.
Yeah.
And respect.
Yeah.
I think he overacted in some scenes.
Yeah.
Whenever he's screaming and he gets to Candyland, I know he's happy to be home and all that, and he sees his sister. You know, I don't know if that really was his sister versus why. I couldn't quite figure that out.
So much Game of Thrones vibes going on there, man. Yeah, so much incest.
But I think he was also trying to, you know, hype her up.
Yeah, sure.
Too, because she was a widow, and I think he's like, oh, let me introduce you to you know, to Dr. Schultz. You know, because here's a man is showing up.
Yeah.
Let me introduce you. Hey, get you married off. Let's go. And so I don't know. We're finally back.
Yeah.
I don't know. So
shout out to Dale.
Yes, shout out to Dale, Lord. This is an HP.
It was well worth it. That picture's well worth it, Joe.
This is an HP. But
HP. Yeah, those guys too. Acer.
But yeah, oh Lord. It's like the Apex DVD player. I thought he just I thought he was good in some scenes, and then others he just yelled his way out of it. Yeah. But the scene over your shoulder,
yeah,
that right there,
yeah.
The thing about Leo, he's such an institution. He has no matter what he does, he's got memeable stuff now.
Oh yeah, like Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah. Wolf of Wall Street. Great Gatsby, with, you know, when they're doing the history music and he turns around, and all the fireworks are going off.
Yeah,
people who don't understand, who didn't read the damn book, don't understand like that's the moment that he's revealed.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
It's not just like, and of course he's got the, you know, the glass in his hand. But this scene right here, this is about nigga love, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Woo! It kind of would taste of nigga love. You get a hold of you. Get a hold of you.
Get a hold of you. So good.
Yes.
So good.
I mean, and you know, the look on his face. So the people that have actually seen the film, I mean, and they understand that scene.
Yeah.
Anytime he makes that face, you got to fall out laughing.
Yeah.
Because anytime you see that face, you got to fall out laughing because that part of the film was so funny to me.
It's so good.
And but so I understand what you mean. He's a despicable person who is not educated, not intelligent, really. Well, not as intelligent as he'd like to come off as.
Right.
You know, but definitely
a Francophile, but don't speak French to him.
Right. Right.
You'll insult him.
All right. Exactly. And then Stephen, I mean, what can we say about our brother?
We know so many Stevens.
We do.
I'm slapping cookies off some Stevens.
What can we say about our brother? About Samuel L.
I was told you got to rise up with the slap.
Yes. What can we say about him? Look, what I would just see. I'm sorry for that, messing my words up here. I would just see A Color Purple on Broadway.
Okay.
And when
excellent choice.
Thank you. And when the scene was, you know, was over and we're clapping for the cast, and the guy who plays Mr. steps out and people are not clapping and they're booing,
That's how you know. That's how you know.
That's how you know you did a great job.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
In a despicable role. And
exactly.
and Samuel L. Jackson is probably played, in his brilliance, plays the worst caricature of, a house Negro, and a self-loathing black man in the history of cinema. I feel, as Steven. Yeah. So you could say that on its face, and it is what it is, or you could also look at the brilliance in my mind, and not just because he went to Morehouse College like you and me, but the utter brilliance in the performance and the layers of the performance, and just like Schultz and this is what I was thinking, just like Schultz and Django were playing a role at Candyland. Yeah. So was Steven.
Yeah, Steven definitely was. Steven was
running.
cunning.
He raised Calvin.
Yeah.
He's directed him, essentially in most of his things. He has control. He has control of the plantation. He tells
absolute control.
He
runs that plantation.
He runs the plantation.
Yes.
So it's not unlike if you ever watch Downton Abbey. I mean, the butler runs the house.
I've seen it. I've seen something you reference. Yes, I've seen that.
Yeah. So I mean,
yeah, you're right. You're right.
He runs the house. So
you're
it's
right.
not. It's very interesting. But they're all white, at least. Their difference is a class thing. This is a black man, probably born on that plantation.
Yeah.
And yet, he's running the show. And so
and Joe, the toughest thing about that is he has to make him believe that he's running it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's Tony and Junior. That's Tony and Junior right there.
Wow,
and that's the brilliance to me.
That's the brilliance, yes.
Steven.
Yeah.
But moreover of Sam's portrayal of Steven. Of course he's a hated figure. I mean, and look, the interplay between, so I'm with you. There are no cool, fun villains. I think the most fun one was like Don Johnson, but he wasn't really a villain.
Big Daddy.
He wasn't really a villain. Yeah, Big Daddy wasn't really a villain in that. I don't. I mean, other than
all the white folks in this movie are villains. No, okay.
I mean, other than he's a plantation, but he had not done anything to them, or deprived them of anything.
Sure.
But yet they still killed him.
Yeah.
Because he came after them. Actually, Django killed him specifically.
Django. I want to talk real quick since you brought it up about DiCaprio's acting, in this film. So the phrenology scene, right? When he's talking about old Joe, right?
That's overly acted, yes.
Okay, but to his credit, when he smashes his hand on that glass, that was real, right?
Yeah, I know.
And like when he's picking, and I watched it this time like in detail. He's picking the actual glass out of his hand, and apparently got a standing ovation after the cut when Tarantino cut from that scene. From his fellow actors, just for continuing to go as if nothing had happened. And thankfully, the blood that he smeared on Kerry Washington's face was not his blood. That was from another tape. But I mean, just the fact that, method acting is one thing, man. To have the cojones to do that and to go through with that scene, and I mean, it's just amazing to me. So, overacting, in the Al Pacino sense,
I'm just saying the yelling is just like,
it's a lot. It's Al Pacino. It's she's got a great ass. It's that, you know what I mean?
But she did.
And your head's all the way up it.
Your head all the way up it. That's Ashley Judd. But back to this.
It is Ashley Judd.
Phi Beta Kappa graduate of the University of Kentucky.
Yes.
But I was going to say though as well, while I do think there were parts that are overacted, I will stand by that forever. I do think overall I thought it was an enjoyable, good performance.
Yeah.
But to your point, there's no likable, lovable villains in it.
No.
Everybody came, they knew the assignment, and they decided they were going to be as dastardly and as big as scoundrels as they possibly could be.
Yeah.
And they pulled that off with effortless aplomb.
Let me ask you this, Joe. What's your favorite scene in the film?
I mean, it's too easy. The retribution scene it rockets to the top. So there's no, so the question is, what my second favorite scene? I think my second favorite scene is when he's out, when he's caught and he was going to go off with the Australians, and the way he took everything that Schultz taught him, and from the proffer to the parlay to the proffer to the gunplay, he learned how to do all this.
Yeah.
And you could see his entire skill set.
Yeah.
And in that moment, you realize he's going to be fine. He's going to be able to get out of whatever. He's going to be fine.
Yeah. It's like a final exam.
Yes. But they gave that man a horse.
Yeah. Some dynamite.
A gun. And they were giving him a little money too.
Yeah.
That's what's crazy.
Yeah.
So to me, that's really, I mean, other than of course, when he comes back and he kills everybody, I mean, that's amazing. It's just amazing.
Yeah.
But to me, that's my other favorite. That's my other favorite scene.
Yeah.
I think my favorite moment, I'm gonna add that, is him and the original Django at the bar.
It's with a Django with a D. I know.
Yeah, Django. I know. Right. The two of them at the bar. The D is silent. The D is silent.
Yeah.
I know.
It's great. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
Okay.
I love that as well.
I forgot to mention that in the stunt casting. Yeah, of course. Frank O'Neary, the original Django. Right. Exactly. How could I forget that? Yeah. All right. So my favorite scene is definitely not a scene I like to rewatch a bit, but I think to speak to the cruelty of who Calvin Candy was, in case you were enamored with his charm, was when they killed D'Artagnan via the hounds, a la my man, what's my guy in Game of Thrones that I hated so much? Did you watch?
Oh yeah. I know who you're talking about. I can't think of his name right now. He wasn't
Ramsay Bolton, like a la Ramsay Bolton. Yeah, man.
Yeah, Ramsay.
So, I mean, in case you were wondering whether, I mean, obviously, like if blood sport, if slaves fighting this blood sport wasn't enough, you know what I mean? The fact that he had these hounds tear this dude apart, really, let you know exactly who he was. Let you know he wasn't playing when he threatened Kerry Washington with that hammer at the end. That scene, again, not very rewatchable, but still pretty good. And the scene on Big Daddy's plantation when he's walking with the young slave girl, I can't remember what her name was at the moment, but Bettina, I think was her name. He's Bettina. And she asked him, he has that outfit on. She's like, "So are you really free?" He's like, "Yeah." "And you really want to wear that?"
Yeah.
and he identifies the specs, or the Brittle brothers rather, with the telescope, and just that whole thing. "I like the way you die." Like that whole scene was fantastic as well. And then lastly, the humorous scene of the white supremacists on the horses and wearing the bags, and my wife, made all these bags for you. Ungrateful.
Now we appreciate Jenny's work, and we appreciate Jenny's work. Yeah. I love that scene. That scene was just a little slice of humor there.
Yeah.
In the middle of all that, I was gonna. Oh gosh, I had another scene in my head, and it floated away. But I thought that the gosh, it floated away twice. I eventually it'll come back eventually. But it's interesting. Waltz Waltz was on a roll, right? Inglourious Bastards.
Yeah.
He does Inglourious Bastards. Then I think that was 2009. Then he does.
I did these back to back. Didn't he win the Oscar back to back?
Yeah.
Or no?
Both, yes, he did for both of these.
Yeah.
But I honestly believe that Jamie was robbed of a nomination for this movie. This is what I contend. I don't know if we're there yet in the show.
No, we're there.
But I thought that his arc as a character, and the physical demands of what he did, the wonderful acting, the power to contain himself at every moment. Oh, I remember the line I was going to talk about. Every moment that he wanted to jump, but he showed, you know, great resolve. I thought that was Oscar worthy in and of itself, and over and over again. And as I watched it, I thought to myself, how is he? What in the shot? How is he not nominated for this? And I think that they just, I mean, of course, even Christoph Waltz could breathe on film, and they were at that point he was going to get a nomination.
Well, if Tarantino wrote it,
that too. Yeah, most important. I mean, and I'm not saying he was, those weren't correct. Those were absolutely correct. I mean, first of all, and then Glorious Bastards. I mean, that is a villain to love. Or to not love. Love is the wrong word. That is definitely an enjoyable villain to watch. So, like Darth Vader.
Yes.
Or Joffrey Baratheon.
Reprehensible, but
definitely enjoyable to watch.
Yeah,
and especially his comeuppance at the end. But the line I was going to say that I thought was amazing in the scene you were just talking about was when he says, you know, he's a little green around the gills for, you know, to be part of nigger fighting. He said, no, he's just not used to America. He is used to American.
Yeah.
I was like, good gosh.
Yeah. And the way that he said it, also the delivery of that line.
And look him right in his, notice nobody else would look him in his eyes other than like Steven, right?
Yeah.
But he always looked Leo in his eyes. And that's the other thing. Like these let me tell you something. These boys were going at it. It's like you got a great defensive end and a great left tackle.
Yeah.
A great right tackle.
Just going in there all game. Aaron Donald and who's your boy with the Cowboys?
Tyron Smith and Tyron Smith.
Yeah.
All game long.
Yeah.
Battling all game long.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That was the two of them going at it. And then so Jamie's battling him. Then Jamie's got to battle Sam Jackson. And Sam's using every trick in the book. And he gets the opportunity because of his character. There's no boundary.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Joe, are you ready to be mad?
Go ahead.
This is the best actor category.
Oh, boy.
Daniel Day-Lewis won for Lincoln. I can't. Daniel Day-Lewis is...
I was fine with that. I saw that. I was fine with that.
Okay, the other nominees.
Good God, was it boring. But go ahead, please.
Bradley Cooper, Silver Linings Playbook. I enjoyed that. Did you see it?
I have no of course, I have no problem with that.
Okay. Hugh Jackman and Les Miserables.
No.
Yeah, I agree. This guy, I don't get the love affair. Joaquin Phoenix is in The Master.
No,
first of all,
I saw that crazy.
Horrible movie.
No, horrible. No. You know why he was there? Because it was my son Thomas. They're all in the academy.
Yeah. And then lastly, our man Denzel in Flight, which I have no problem with at all.
I got no problem with that.
Yeah.
But I mean, either you take Joaquin out, or you take Hugh Jackman out, or you add Jamie.
Yeah. Jamie needs to be there. Jamie needs to be there for sure. Now, Best Supporting, we know that Christoph Waltz won.
Yeah.
And again, we're not disputing that.
Nope.
Alan Arkin in Argo.
I can understand it. Oh, this was the Argo year. Lord.
Yeah. Exactly. So Robert De Niro in Silver Linings Playbook. Yeah, another. I
had no problem. I had no problem with that.
Philip Seymour Hoffman in The Master. I'm a big Philip Seymour Hoffman person.
Is that his last movie?
No, I think he did at least one more after that. He died in 2014.
Okay, well, it was 2 years off. Okay. Yeah.
So he did at least a couple more.
Okay.
And then and Tommy Lee Jones in Lincoln was the other. So
he was good in Lincoln. I was thinking about that the other day. I don't know why. I was thinking about Tommy Lee Jones in Lincoln. I couldn't remember what movie it was in that he was married to Esapatha Murkison, and it was Lincoln. Thank you. I could not remember for the life of me what film it was.
It's Thaddeus Stevens. Yes.
Okay.
But so to answer your question about Philip Seymour Hoffman, he was filming part 2 of one of those horrible Hunger Games movies.
Right.
He had done the first one.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, so and just for shits and giggles, let's talk about Best Supporting Actress, because I think Kerry had done enough.
Think so, huh?
For that.
Okay.
Potentially. Just putting it out there. So you got Anne Hathaway from Les Miserables. She won. That was a raspberry, guys, for those that aren't watching. Amy Adams in The Master. I don't need to say any more about The Master. Sally Field and Lincoln. I'm a Sally Field stan.
Me too. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that.
Fine then. Helen Hunt in The Sessions, which, again, no. And Jackie Weaver in Silver Linings Playbook. I mean, again, she was really good, but
they didn't nominate the kid. Oh, the kid, she was up for actress, right?
Oh, she won. You talking about Jennifer Lawrence?
That's right. That's what J Law won. That's what J Law won. Okay.
She won. She won. And all right, since we're hashing that out, Jessica Chastain for Zero Dark 30 was also nominated. Great role. Great film.
Yeah.
Emmanuel Riva in Amour. What else has she been in? I'm not sure. Probably not a whole lot. She died shortly thereafter. So there's that. The young lady, I always struggle with her name. Quentin Tarantino, Wallace in Beast of the Southern Wild. As such.
Yeah.
And Naomi Watts in The Impossible. Again, I've never seen The Impossible, but
I saw a lot of movies back then. I saw a lot. I didn't see that one, but I saw most of those. I saw most of those films.
Yeah, I saw a lot of them. Yeah. Django was up for Best Picture.
It was. I mean, and rightfully. I mean, it was a Tarantino Western.
And shout out to Reggie Hudlin for being one of the producers.
Yeah.
Our main man,
Reggie. It was beautifully shot.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And I mean, the cinematography, the costume design. I mean, it's epic. This film is epic.
And it won for Best Screenplay. This is Tarantino's. Was it his first screenplay award?
Second. He won original screenplay for Pulp Fiction.
Did he?
Yeah, that's the newcomer award.
Yeah. So they gave him the newcomer award twice.
Well, the first time he got it, that's the Affleck Damon Award. That's the Spike was nominated. Spike was nominated for original screenplay for Do the Right Thing.
Okay.
That's the We See You.
That's Mama, I Made It.
Yeah, We See You.
Okay.
We might not give it to you, but we see you.
Got you. Okay, fair enough. I see Moonrise Kingdom was nominated, and rightfully so.
Rightfully so. I saw that in the theater. I mean, yeah.
I'm not missing Wes Anderson, baby. So yeah, man. But cinematography, A Lost to Life of Pi. I can't be too mad. I enjoyed Life of Pi immensely.
Yeah, but it's like a CGI. I guess and this was mud and moss from trees and wide open spaces. But it is what it is. But it's spectacular. I mean, that was the Life of Pi was spectacular. So I mean, you can't. I mean, it is what it is. Yeah. But it was honored as it should be. But I think they missed the mark. I think Jamie was a major snub.
Sure.
And I'm sure if I Google that, it's there. He was snubbed for Ali as Bundini.
Oh, absolutely.
I felt he was snubbed.
Absolutely.
And I felt not only was he snubbed, I think in this film, I think it was again a black actor giving his all. Actually, I think they were both snubbed. And I'm gonna go. I have no problem saying this. I think that Samuel L. Jackson's role as Stephen, as despicable as it was, as despicable as he was, I thought that it was one of the best acting portrayals of the year. Now, it was a horrible caricature of every stereotype humanly possible. But I thought it became the redemptive quality of the performance was in two scenes.
Yeah. Okay.
One, when he tells him what's going on in the room, when he says Calvin, because in the other room he's Mr. Candy. When he says Calvin, this is Calvin telling you, Stephen.
Yeah.
This is what it is.
Yeah.
Like you
say, thank you, Stephen. You're welcome, Calvin.
You're welcome, Calvin. Right?
Yeah.
That scene, and then later, when it wasn't really redemptive, but later when they got Jamie upside down naked, and he tells him what he's going to do. He's like, I'm not going to.
They got a million different ways to kill a nigga. Yeah. And most of them enjoy doing stuff with your naughty bits.
Right. I'm going to send you away. I'm going to send you away.
LeQuint Dickey.
LeQuint Dickey, Mining Company, right. And he came back and kneecapped him. Oh, you black. Oh, son of a. I mean, he got to just do whatever, say whatever he wanted to say, do whatever he wanted to do.
Oh yeah.
And the craziness of all that was, there was no music. There's music when he's like boom, 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 doing that, but the actual shot scenes, it's like Heat. It's like he understood, like De Palma in Heat. Let the gun.
Michael Mann.
And
Michael
then
Mann.
yes. Oh, I'm sorry, Michael Mann. I apologize. What said that? I said De Palma.
Yeah.
I sincerely apologize.
Chris Ryan's rolling over in his grave.
I'm so sorry.
He's still alive.
He Michael Mann. What I was gonna say was, sorry about that. What I meant to say in that was, there was no music.
Yeah.
It was
the score drops out, everything drops out. And
but it's also the stillness of the time. I mean, you're at a plantation. You hear this gunfire. They hear the gunfire for miles around.
Yeah.
Or several hundred feet around.
Yeah, and there's nothing else going on. Right. To your much earlier point, nothing else is going on.
Nothing else is going on.
Nothing.
You
get nothing.
It's Griswold. So yeah, I just thought that was so, I don't know, so wild. And then I sit there like, where are they gonna go? I mean, they got papers.
Yeah.
To me, that's a nitpick for me. And if that was fine in 1858, fine. You go north on 2 horses, and I think they kept the money. I don't know if he got the money back, or I presume he took the money back.
I think he did.
Because everybody left.
He had his handbills and everything like that for the other for the bounties and everything like that. I think So I mean, but people heard about what happened, and he was the only person that survived it, I'm sure. So I mean, what life he did have, to your point, I don't know, Joe. You're right. That's
they're gonna go to Mexico. They're going to Mexico. Like, where are they going?
They're meeting Andy Dufresne and Red in Quashahala or whatever.
So
they meet Harry Tubman in Canada.
Yeah, something like that. I mean,
so,
it was.
Yeah, Joe. I mean, Tarantino. I mean, he just kind of does things, and you just have to. I don't know.
Live with
it. Allegedly, Django was based on a slave by the name of Dangerfield Newby, who was the first big gun, a huge mulatto who died during the Browns raid of the Federal Armory in Harpers Ferry, Virginia. Apparently, he was a man of legend. He was one of John Brown's raiders, and I guess Tarantino saw fit to use him as a source. I always think of this dude that I got big into slave narratives for a little while. My friend Carmen White put me on to some slave narratives, and one of the ones that I just enjoy immensely, and every year when it pops up on my Facebook feed, I get excited. Is this guy by the name of Spotswood Rice? Are you familiar with Spotswood Rice?
Yeah, I am actually.
Yeah, and the violent letters he wrote to his old slave master, Miss Sally, and trying to get his kids back from her. I always think of Django as like him. You know what I mean? Like just trying to put your family back together. Imagine that. I don't even want to imagine the horrors that our people have been through. And the scene where, all right, so the phrenology scene where he's talking about the dimples and blah 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 and servitude and all this kind of thing, and how he couldn't imagine why his dad's throat was never cut by the slave that was cutting his, shaving him or whatever.
Right.
I think the white folks have a hard time imagining how people can't be as savage and cruel as they've been. They expect that other shoe to drop. You know what I mean? They expect us to be as angry as they would be in these circumstances. And there has to be some kind of logical explanation as to why other people can't be as cruel and unusual as they have been. Mm-hmm. Which I think speaks again to that pathology more than it does to anybody else's pathology. But it just these revenge fantasies that Tarantino and others have.
Yeah.
It just, I feel some kind of way about them. I say all that I've said to say that, that's kind of my nitpick, is that these revenge fantasies that these filmmakers, while they're wildly entertaining, I just can't imagine coming up with, who comes up with the LeQuint Dickey Mining Company, and the characters that Tarantino comes up with, and the gratuitous violence. Like who comes up with that? You know what I mean?
That's him.
Yeah, it's him. And it's amazing, and I'm thankful that we have it. But geez, man, like, I don't know. Anyway, I enjoyed the film though. I'll say it. The film, the music, you talked about the music just a little bit. 100 Coffins.
Yeah, 100 Coffins. That's what it was called. But I thought the music was strong. I thought all of the music was strong. Like, they switched back and forth between spaghetti western. It was also an homage, obviously, to spaghetti westerns, and we hadn't said that yet. Sure. An amazing homage to those films, which of course later, which is kind of funny because later Leo plays a guy who has a kind of a comeback, make a spaghetti western. In a later Tarantino film.
Yeah, that we almost did, guys.
Yeah, we almost did that one.
Came very close.
Very, very, very close. But I don't know. I thought the music was perfect, man. And I thought a little bit of it was like a little Blazing Saddles too.
Sure.
I really did. I thought there was a little Blazing Saddles too.
I mean, especially with the theme, like the King Schultz song, the Django song. Yeah. I got a lot of Blazing Saddles vibes from that.
Yeah, I got a whole lot of Blazing Saddles in that.
Yeah,
as well.
Yeah, the John Legend song is probably my favorite in the film.
Mm-hmm.
Ennio Morricone.
What do you say?
Morricone.
Morricone. Yeah. The man.
Yeah, absolutely. And thankfully Tarantino recognized that, and he was able to do this and the Hateful Eight, and score some of the. And to your point about spaghetti westerns, I mean, is it a spaghetti western if he's not doing the score?
No, it's not. It's not.
So, very, very much an homage to that.
My favorite score of his was in the '94 film Love Affair, which is a take on the original Affair to Remember. But he has a song called I just love the score in that film, and he has a song called For Warren and Annette, or maybe it's For Annette and Warren. I can't remember whose name is first. And it is just absolutely beautiful. And that's when I first encountered him, and then I went back and figured out, oh, this guy is the one. He's made all this music that I like. In these
the Ecstasy of Gold.
I mean, he could have stopped after that.
Yeah. My buddy Niall came into his wedding
to the Ecstasy of Gold. Did he get married around the time of that amazing Nike commercial?
Yeah, right around there. I think that's what had it in his consciousness. But he's also a big fan of that whole trilogy too.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I got you.
Yeah, man. Django, great. If you haven't seen Django, man, I mean, again, I'm surprised you got this far in the podcast. You must love us. But great film. You got.
Wait! I want to say one thing.
Okay.
Sorry.
Say something.
The Sheba Club. A place where white men could go and spend time with black women.
Oh yeah.
Now
known as the park at Centennial Park. Oh, sorry.
Okay, well there you are. But yeah, it was very interesting. It was very interesting and somewhat taboo, because then there was also the Mandingo fighting was also there.
Yeah.
So it was just basically, anything goes.
Anything taboo. Anything goes. Shout out to Steven Spielberg and Kate Capshaw.
Yes.
Anything goes. Yeah, no, you're right. Let's actually talk about that real quick. Because the basest human elements are present, in these plantations. And there's still this love affair for plantations in 2022, where folks want to revisit this, and the unspoken vibe there is that all this stuff took place. This is where, you talk about Make America Great Again, like that's a part of the greatness for some people. It's to be able to, to live out these dreams and do what like Strom Thurmond, all these, these senators who had Black women, Thomas Jefferson, who had Black women and probably participated in stuff like this. Oh, Joe. Such a great moment. Those sunglasses, man. I need to find them.
It shouldn't be hard.
Things that shouldn't be hard are incredibly difficult for.
I'm sure you could Amazon, brother. Amazon.
Yeah, I'm an Amazon. I'm gonna go on Amazon right now and say Django glasses, and
no telling what you get.
Hopefully it'll pop up.
Yeah.
Once we go over this hill, Joe.
Anything could happen.
Anything can happen.
Now that we stood over this bridge, anything at all. Actually, that was a racist. Not a racist, but a racial part of that book. When he says it, it's because he's riding by. I don't know if you remember the scene.
Of course, Joe.
In the movie, it crystallizes it in your head, right? They ride by and they see these Black people with a white chauffeur. Yeah. And he looks like, and that's what he says. Anything could happen now that we put over this bridge. Good Lord, because I saw them. Yeah. Anything could happen.
Yeah.
Anything
exactly.
at all.
Exactly. Anything at all.
Anything at all. Yeah. Yes, indeed.
It's the undergirding, the undertone of every single thing. It's there with you.
Yeah, every single thing.
Every single thing.
He wrote it in Montgomery. I mean, so let's
JC Love, shout out.
Man of his time in the Zelda in the Gatsby and Zelda district of Montgomery. They're very proud of that.
Of course.
They're very proud of that there. Of course. Yes, indeed.
Of course.
Right down the
what have we left on the field, man? $12,000. How much is $12,000 back in those days?
I just want to say, there's a lot of trust.
Yeah.
I mean, $12,000. Yeah. $7,500 in 1858.
Yeah.
That is a lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
$300. $300 for Hildy during that time period is a lot of money.
A lot of money. 1858, right? So
yeah.
Let me see.
Inflation. I don't know if it goes back that far. I don't even know if it's inflation.
The internet will tell us anything. Oh, $1,200 see my phone knew what I was trying to do. Right here. About 4. Are you ready for this number, Joe? This is gonna blow your mind.
Don't say 4 million.
No, not 4 million. Not 4 million. Not quite that.
100,000.
$433,574.63.
Jeez.
That's what $12,000. So Hildy, they paid almost $500,000 for Hildy. I mean, can you put a price on him, like Joe?
No, apparently, they did.
Yeah,
they did. But apparently, but she sold for 300, right?
So let's see how much $300 was.
But the thing is, she was a woman.
That's $11,000, Joe.
Okay, so essentially, though, she could birth XYZ number of children that could either work or become other people who could birth children.
Now I understand why they so mad about slavery being abolished, Joe. That's why I see so many Confederate flags around here now. They made a lot of money off us, boy. Hey, let me stop this podcast before I get in trouble.
With no tax.
With no tax.
No tax.
Man, states' rights. That's right to what? Whenever I get into an argument with somebody, a well-meaning conservative about slaves' rights, states' rights, ask them states' rights to what? States' rights to what? I never get an answer. I am undefeated with that. In my debate circles,
I believe
I'm undefeated. They changed the subject.
I believe it.
It's about my heritage. What heritage about what? Surrounding what? They don't want to talk about that part of it.
Nah, they don't.
Y'all lost. I've never seen a bunch of losers. You know what I mean? I'm not carrying around Atlanta Falcons 2017 flags, man. You know what I mean? I left that where it was. You know what I mean? That'd be like me wearing a Falcons Super Bowl
NFC championship ring.
Yeah, man. Come on, man.
Which I do receive that ring.
I throw it in the trash. My buddy Jeff got a second place trophy in intramural softball and promptly threw it into the creek. And that was the right thing to do. If you're not first, you're last, baby.
I can dig it. I can dig it.
Oh, Joe, this is great. I'm looking over. Let me tell you, Joe. I got two things in my kitchen. I wish I could show you right now. I wish I could show our listeners and viewers. We're about to wrap it up. We're about to land this plane. But I got a Colin Kaepernick painting painted by one of my former residents. Okay. And then I got the Harder They Fall poster from
nice.
My sister Shay sent me from Netflix. And you know, this the Harder They Fall is the spiritual successor to Django to me.
Oh yeah, of course.
So, you know, I don't know if we'll ever talk about it, but at any rate, Joe, we will be back soon enough. Next week, more likely.
Next week. You out of town?
I'm going to Denver on Thursday, but we'll talk offline.
Okay.
So maybe we'll put something in the can before I go
Denver.
to Denver.
The Sunshine State.
My first, the true Sunshine State, indeed.
No, that was from old school.
Oh,
the Sunshine State.
He was right. Colorado's the Sunshine State.
Maybe he was right.
They get more days of sunshine than any place in the country.
Maybe he was right this whole time. I just thought he was drunk and was wrong.
That's the beauty of we should talk about Old School one day. That's the beauty of that movie. But at any rate, so my first fantasy draft, we're going there.
Oh wow, cool.
And then you know, I'm girding my loins, I'm reading the ledger for the old drafts so I can get ready for the tactics and the things that you guys do.
There will be tactics. Know this.
The mind games have already started.
Yeah. Just put some blinders on.
Yeah.
And do what you know to do best.
Guys, I don't know if I'm gonna survive La Liga, but you know, I don't know whether
I'm gonna be
like Osasuna or whether I'm gonna be like Barcelona. You know, one or the other. If I get relegated,
you'll be fine.
Oh man. Anyway, but great show, Joe. So
thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, until the next time, remember that we are on YouTube. We are on Apple. We are on Spotify. We are on Anchor.fm. Well, probably on Stitcher. I haven't checked Stitcher, but we're probably there. Wherever you get your podcast, guys, you know what I mean? Like if you like a podcast, we got some new listeners. Shout out to Kalila. I see you, Kalila. I see you, Amanda. All our, you know, our peoples out here, Reese and Cash, Loyal Cash and Tash. We got folks out here, man.
Tash, always judging.
Hey, man, hey, look, I need Tash telling me when I'm right and when I'm wrong, man.
I thought I lived for it.
Man. Our guests like McKinley Price, Dr. McKinley Price, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
We got people out here, man. We in these streets, you know what I mean? None of their cookies gonna be slapped off at homecoming, by the way, though. All these people are good. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Anyway, all right, man. Till the next time, we are the Open Task Podcast. We out. Peace.